you. The mic. How many things have you written? Oh, I don't know, I've lost count.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. So that's a bit sensitive, bro. So thank you everyone for coming. Today we've got, we try and do this every month, and we've been a little bit lapsed in September, but we're back onto it in October. Still is October, even if it's the last couple of days. And in November we've got Bhai Harjinder Singh doing a talk in Maiduguri on a Sunday, and December So this week we've got Bhai Harjinder Singh, who within groups of friends we lovingly call Nick. No idea why, maybe that he can tell us why we called you Nick. So Bhai himself, I think this one thing we definitely want to get out and tell people, this isn't just kind of a random Gurdwara talk where someone's on the stage talking about 984. They heard something, they're telling you something. Harjinder Singh has written books. He's an academic on this, on 1984 from June, the events before June, October, throughout the 90s as well. Bhaji's written a number of books, 2 or 3 books on just 84 exclusively, is it more?
2 on 84.
2 on 84, and he's written a number of books on Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Jeevani, on the life of Guru Nanak Dev Ji in English as well. So when we say we have an academic, we have someone who spent years researching about the events of 1984 and now is presenting his research, what he's learned and the lessons. We've given Bhai some quite difficult topic. We asked him to talk about the resilience that as a community we've seen since 1984 from the events, and how that's helped us to become a stronger community despite the challenges and navigating those challenges as well. So thank you to Bhai for coming. We really appreciate it, all the way from Warsaw. That's like the dark side of Birmingham, the Midlands. So we're not going to give out today. But thank you so much to Bhai for coming. And normally in another event we might clap them on, but we don't do that here. Here's a Gurdwara. Thank you, Bhai Sahib. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. If you do have questions, you can just drop, just write them down, or if you look at one of the Sangat groups, just message the number 221, and we'll get Bhai Sahib to answer them at the end. Thanks.
Morning, what time?
8 o'clock, bro. 5 past.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦਿ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦਿ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦਿ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦਿ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦਿ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦਿ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸੱਚ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ 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 ਤਿਨ ਵਿਧੀਆਂ ਕੀ ਕੁਲ ਵਿਖੇ ਪ੍ਰਗਟ ਨਾਨਕ ਰਾਏ ਸਭ ਸਿੱਖਨ ਕੋ ਸੁਖ ਦੇ ਦੇਤੇ ਤੈ ਸਹਾਏ ਜੋ ਤੋ ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਖਲਨ ਕਾ ਚਾਓ ਸਿਰ ਧਰ ਧਰੀ ਗਲੀ ਮੇਰੀ ਆਓ ਸਿਰ ਧਰ ਧਰੀ ਗਲੀ ਮੇਰੀ ਆਓ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ.
So the topic that you guys gave me
was Sikh resilience. And before I start, I'm going to just explain quickly the pankti that I just read at the end. So, jo to prem khilan ka chas, which means if you want to play the game of love, jo to you playing prem, love, khilan ka chas, want to play this game. Sir tar tali gali meri aao, sir your head, tari meri aao. Yes, so basically means put your head on your hand and bring it to me. Surrender your head. Now, surrendering your head, what that means there is surrendering your ego, surrendering your body, your wealth, everything for God. So, Sikh resilience comes from that pankti. We can start and finish this talk now on that point. If you surrender everything to your Guru, then you got the resilience. And all of our history is based upon that, that's samarpan. And if we do that, all our history, any figure that we look of, any significance, any inspiration, any spiritualist, it's all based upon that. That's what this whole talk is, and that's what our whole history represents. In terms of where we live in the UK government is using this term, resilient communities. So I work in the public sector, and I work in hate crime at the moment. Yeah? So they have a lot of talk around resilient communities with the public sector. So if you look at money coming to local communities, it's around making the communities resilient. So I googled this, and I'm not sure where it came from, because when I looked for it again, I couldn't find it. But this is a good definition of what they mean in terms of resilient communities. So this means providing individuals and groups of people with the knowledge and skills they need to effect change in their own communities through a process of engagement, education, empowerment, enablement and evaluation. So actually in British society, this is a hot topic for them. But we're going to obviously base it upon our Sikhi. So we start with Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji. So that's an image that we've used on the Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji book that we've done the first one. So we've got a series of books which go from Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji up to Panjmi Pasha, and then we jump to that Sri Pasha. So we have done the Sher Sakmi Atme Nawi Pasha. We've done Nawi Pasha's Gurbani, but we haven't printed the book yet, so we're behind in our lives. But anyway, Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji, what did they do? They rejected the Janu. So what the Janu is a thread that they put round them as Hindus, so like we might wear a gatra, for example. And Maharaj rejected that. And instead of that, Maharaj just found with the Sriya Sadivar, which they say, instead of giving me a thread, give me virtues. Yeah? So Maharaj says this Daga is going to basically break, and I need a Daga which doesn't break, I need God's name and things like that. I'm not going to go into the words because it will be here forever, because I've got too many slides to go through. Truth to all faiths talk. So Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji bravely went to all denominations across the world and to other planets as well in the solar system and taught them the truth. So Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji wasn't here just to set up a different faith of Sikhi, but was here to also teach the truth to the existing faiths as well, to put them back on the path of their own faiths. So that's what Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji did. In terms of our resilience, can we actually talk about Sikhi? Let alone go to talk to someone else about their own faith and convert them back to their own faith. Have we got the knowledge to actually do our own prachar, let alone have the knowledge to bring someone else back onto their own faith through a Sikhi lens? So for example, if I asked you, what's the pankti about a Muslim having a soft heart? What would the pankti be? Anyone know apart from Mani? Anyone know? Musalman something dil hove? Yes? Mohm dil hove? Huh? So the pankti are there, but it's like, can we pull them out? Yeah? Because obviously we've got this anti-Muslim criteria going on in our lives all the time. Yeah? Sometimes it's right, most times it's actually wrong, because statistically a lot of the stuff's actually out. So off the stage just now, before I came down, the Granthi Singh was singing Bhagat Farid the Shahid and explaining a Sakya about them. Revolutionary. Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji was revolutionary, and so were all the Das Padshahs. We do this thing where we say Ik Onkar is the symbol of the Sikhs and it's a peaceful symbol. No, it's not. Ik Onkar actually includes what Akar means. Akar, Makar, what they actually means is creation, destruction. So when the Panj Pyare make them, they say Udarkhan Akarkhan Shakti Bhav in this bhakta. So when they finish the Panj Bani, they pick the bhakta up and they say that in the last of the So Ik Onkar also includes the destruction, also includes the badness as well of the world. And it includes everything in creation. So we sometimes Christianize our Sikhi to please the community that we're speaking to, because we're actually going for appeal to that community. Whereas the Badshah were Badshah, so they didn't actually please anyone, they just pleased God without any fear, any doubt of anything or any cause. So stood steadfast in all approaches to everyone that they met, be they kings, Babur Khan, be they paupers or religious leaders, rich and famous. So Maharaj did that. The other thing is Halimi Raj. So a lot of our Khanistan Prachar that we do is about putting our chest out and pouting. But this is the actual foundation of that Raj, which is humility. Halimi means humility. And if we haven't got the rule of humility in us, it doesn't matter what we say in our prachar, it's not going to work, because that's the basis of our Sikhi. So humility has to be there, and without humility we can't win any arguments with anyone. We'll just get into conflicts all the time. Obviously there's a time and a place for everything, but our Raj of any Raj Bhag, even a Godara, why do we have fights in committees? Why do we have fights at elections? Because it's all about ego. The humility goes out the door. Yeah? And if we're actually scared of Guru Gobind Singh Maharaj sitting there, we'd never do that in the Darbar. That's the other side of it as well. Yeah? So we would be actually fearful. The Pasha said more about here, yeah? So Kartarpur as well, Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji in the last 30 years of the life set the city for Kartarpur, and he was the first Raj of the Sikhs. So Maharaj actually ran that Raj how they wanted to. So anyone who turns around and says, oh, this Khalistan thing you're talking about, it's never been about land, it has been about land, because the Badshahi all set up cities about that. But the other side is, Maharaj did that themselves, yeah, and they didn't actually, that's why it's called Kartarpur. Kartar means the creator who's God. So it's based on the principles of God, not bowing down to who the Raja were at the time. So this is a shabd which Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji did ucharan to. So can you all see? Do I need to move? Are we okay? I'm blocking the view from the people on this side. I can't even move that side as well because then I'll block you guys, won't I? Actually, I'll do this. I'll go over here, yeah? Is this safer? Is that okay? Is that better, yeah? So, this shabd is Babur Bani we call it. So, it talks about when Babur invaded and Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji also got arrested. So I'll just go to the Pantiyan here. Ape dosna dei karte jam kar Mughal charaya. So saying the Mughals came and were sent as death angels to kill. So what's happening at the time there is that they've come and invaded and they're murdering people. Babur's army are. So Maharaj is saying is this many people murdered, but God, didn't you have any mercy that you're seeing this? Yeah. So it's like how we would see something like you're talking about the Palestinians now. Yeah. So it's like that. That's the sort of relevance to that today as well. Karta tu sapna ka so saying you're the creator of all. Yes, sakta sakte ko mare ta man ros na hui. What it means is if a powerful person kills a powerful person, no one says anything. But if a powerful person is murdering the Barja, the population, then who do we go to? So it's like a kadlan to God as well. But as part of this, Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji actually challenged Babur as well. And Babur also imprisoned Guru Nanak Dev Ji as well. So the Sakhi goes, and Maharaj then got freed as well. And Babur asked for Var as well, asked for boons from Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji for their Raj to continue. And Maharaj said, as long as you don't do Paap, you'll be okay. But once you start doing Paap, your Raj is going to go. So the Srap was in there as well. And that's how the Mughal Empire ends in the end. Sri Guru Harjinder Dev Ji, so I'm going to jump from Badshahi as part of the resilience of the talks of the topic. Sri Guru Harjinder Dev Ji, so Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji starts the faith like that. Sri Guru Harjinder Dev Ji sort of institutionalizes the faith and puts a lot of stuff in place for the future of Sikhi. So Sikh Darbar Sahib sat on earth for all of us. And it's a universal centre of faith. What we do as a Sikhs, we claim it as our own. But what we need to realise is 4 doorways to Sri Darbar Sahib. It's open to everyone. If you go there now, you'll see a lot of Hindus come in there with Shraddha. And the whole world goes there. So it's a place of faith for everyone, and we need to keep that point on our sort of arguments as well when we talk about Indira Gandhi attacking. She didn't attack just the Sikhs, she attacked all faiths in that attack as well. So Guru Bani, so Maharaj said, Guru Pothi Parmeshwar Ka Thana when they made this group, so it's saying God exists in the Pothi. So that's Sri Guru Granth Sahib. Biggest contribution to Guru Bani was Sri Guru Harjinder Dev Ji, and created our epicenter, which is Harmandir Sahib obviously, and everything, including Guru Granth Sahib, and the first Shahidi, and was done through peaceful means as well. So Sri Guru Harjinder Dev Ji laid the foundations for our resilience in the future. And then Shema Padsha, we missed this in the story of sort of Diwali a lot and Gandhi Shore Devs. Maharaj, when they get Gurgad after Pandit Pasha Shahidi, they say, Asiuda Qatal Kabna, Jadullah. We're actually going to murder him. That's their words when they sit on. Yeah? And so our faith changed then from just being peaceful from the Pandit Pasha to being a warrior saints religion. So we changed, and then it was called Akaal Bunga first, Akaal Taksai was, and that's built as a challenge to the Mughal Raj to say we're also kings, we're also sovereigns, and we will rule through our own polity. And we also get a Sikh army then. And if you look at Sri Akaal Taksai as well, in terms of the history, so a lot of people complain about who's actually controlling the Takhta now or not and things like that. Sri Guru Hargobind Sahib actually has to leave Akaal Takht Sahib as well. And where do they go? They go to Heatpur Sahib. There's a Gurdwara Sahib called Takht Sahib there.
So they moved the Takht to the Kirtpur side. So that's really important in our history. The Takht doesn't have to be a physical place, and the Takht can move, and the Sikhs can be, the Takht can be where they want. So when the Singhs were in jungles, the Takht was somewhere else. At the same point, you had Sabat Khalsa in Rajasthan and other places, so we have to keep that in mind, that the Takht isn't the Jagah, the Takht is where the Panth says. Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji obviously created the Amrit Sanchar to continue to this day with the creation of the Khalsa. And the Khalsa, if they're a true Khalsa, they're the epitome of Guru Gobind Singh. They actually are one and the same. There's no difference. So we all aim for that. Most of us won't make it in this life, yeah? But that's that pinnacle, isn't it? So that pinnacle exists in the Amrit Sanchar. That's where you can talk to the Guru in their true form with everything there, Guru Granth Sahib and Panch Pyare. So that's where you can actually conversate with the Guru. Dasambani is there for us to learn about Veera, so a warrior trade, but also how to live and contribute to the world, how to be smart, how to work in stealth, and how to operate. So we've got a lot of prachar against Dasambani. The elimination of Dasambani is about eliminating our warrior spirit and also elimination of our politics. So it's actually our grant for politics, and we cannot discount anything in there, even if it is erotica or whatever it may be, because that's actually there, because that happens in the world. It doesn't happen, these things don't happen. So we actually try to reduce Guru Sahib down to our playground level of our buddhi and our intellect, rather than raise it to something else, so then we miss the whole point of what's happening in Nalsakia. Khalsa and the Panch Pyare, so the Panch Pyare really, like we say Panch Singh, but really Panch Pyare only exist in Guru Granth Sahib's Hajuri as well. And if there's someone who's sitting as Panch Singh, they need to be able to have not committed any of the 4 cardinal sins if they're officiating in any capacity, and they also, so they're not budget connected, and they can actually lag in Panch Pyare, so they're not mean to either Satabani off by heart, and they should be good enough to do Seva and Amrit Sanchars. So when we make Panch Singh thing, sometimes in our institutes, 3 other people might have to retake Amrit, let alone anything else. So we've actually lost and eroded this theory as well, and that's why our decision making sometimes goes wrong in those Panch Singh as well. And even the Panch Singh Sahiban who sit in India, when they do their decision making, they don't actually do it in Guru Granth Sahib's Hajuri. So that's a real challenge, because if they do it in Guru Granth Sahib's Hajuri, they know they can't lie or be politicised by whoever may be ruling their party and things like that. So that's really essential in our learning, because we actually water down that concept of the Panch Singh or Panch Pyare, we make it into something else. Then we might turn around and say, oh, you need to get Amrit Sanchar karna. But if we're not looking for the best of the best to officiate, and we're making compromises, that's what the decision making will be as well. It'll be compromised as well. Sri Guru Gobind Singh set the destruction of the Mughal Empire on course by writing a letter called the Zafarnama. So Sri Guru Gobind Singh, because by their saying said, Maharaj han khoon bahut dule aaya, Maharaj aisi dana kariye ki mulk ki jaan kariye, shaheed bahut hue saying. So Maharaj listened to that faryad and said, by their saying, with the Zafarnama. So it's still done, but it's done through the pen. And that's what led to the end of the Mughal Raj, with Aurangzeb falling to his death after reading that letter. But then also Banda Singh Bahadur is dispatched to Punjab with Panch Singh to go and conquer as well, and he does that. On the way he collects more and more Sikhs. So Sri Guru Gobind Singh sets that on course, and Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji, where we started from going about Sarat to the Mughals, when you don't do Bhak Yogi, once you start doing it, your Raj will go, and that's what happens with them. The golden era of Sikh resilience is this period, after the Guru period. This is the best part of our Sikhi, because at this, what happens in this juncture of the next 100 years is that we actually have to prove to the Guru that we are of their calibre, or that we actually obeyed them and followed through. The Sikhya that they gave us in the next 100 years, did we actually live up to it? And these good Sikhs did that. So Banda Singh Bahadur sets up a Raj, leaving with 5 Sikhs. He's got an army of 6 people. Yeah, he goes and conquers vast amounts of Punjab. Bhai Mani Singh gives Shahidi, Band Patwa ke, yeah, so by limb. Baba Deep Singh gives Shahidi, freeing Darbar Sahib. Sardars, just as Ahluwalia, Ramgariya, they do Fateh at Delhi. They actually conquer Delhi many times, and they actually bring the throne that they sit on. There was like a marble seat. That's in the Ramgariya Bunga in Darbar Sahib. So you can go and do darshan of that. Nawab Kapoor Singh. So during this period, what happened was the Sikhs had to go into the jungles, and then they used to attack the invading Mughals, but then go hide. So basically Sikh was outlawed, they couldn't live openly, and the Sikhs became so persistent in their guerrilla tactics that in the end the ruling empires, the Afghans and the Mughals, they actually wanted to give the Sikhs a piece of land where they could live so they wouldn't have to deal with the ongoing attacks. And Nawab Kabul Singh agrees to do that and become the Nawab of the Sikhs. But it was like a protracted thing, he didn't really want to do it and things like that. So in the end we're given a Raj because we're so much of a pain to the existing Raj Bad people, yeah? Destroyed the Mughals, remnants of what was left, and the invading Afghans and Persian armies, and the Turkistanis. So when we say Turk, the actual Turks are from a country called Turkestan, which no longer exists. So that used to exist between, like, Turkmenistan and those dodgy fights we used to all go on, Uzbekistan and whatever, so it's between those countries, we call Turkestan, that's where they actually originate from. But these Sikhs, what they did is they destroyed those empires and cleaned them out. So if we look at, first the Mughals came, challenged Sikhi, they were wiped off the face of the earth, to the extent that a Bibi who was part of the Mughal Raj, her ancestors of Mughal Raj, a few years ago, she came to the Darbars and asked for Maafi, didn't advance. Yeah, so that happened. And then the Afghans and the Persian armies, they were also cleared out by these Sikhs in this period. So you got Bodha Singh, Gabda Singh sent to their own Raj as well. Yeah, that's Madhav Singh Sukha, took the head of Musarangad, who had taken over the Darbar side. So this whole period of about 100 years or less after Guru Sahib. Then we get the missiles after this period. So the missiles are literally, what the Sikhs did is the Sardars, they started taking over areas. So it might be like Mani, because you couldn't find anyone else, you make him the leader of Slough. Yeah, for Warsaw, I'd be murdered, yeah, because all the banter goes from Warsaw. All decisions start in Warsaw and for our Sikh Com. And if some people don't know, like most of the Sikh leaders actually live in Warsaw, I don't know why, yeah, property might be cheap in our town, but a lot of the decisions start and end there. Literally, we could fight all the problems in our town, they all live there, yeah, even most of their addresses if you want. But anyway, so the missiles were pockets of different Sikhs leading different areas. And then those missiles were brought together by Maharaja Ranjit Singh and made into a confederation and made into a Raj. So that's what Maharaja Ranjit Singh's Raj came. So that's where the word Dal Khalsa comes from. The Dal Khalsa was them coming together to do decisions together. So that's how we eventually took over Punjab on a permanent basis. Whereas Banda Singh Bahadur's Raj was quite short-lived, whereas the missiles were actually embedded into their localities. And then after Maharaja Ranjit Singh, so 10 years after his demise, and 2 bloody Anglo-Sikh wars, the British take the Sikh Raj, so it takes them 10 years. So we usually think it's like quite quickly after, but he did it because the Sikh Raj was so powerful that they had to wait 10 years and let the family of Maharaja Ranjit Singh kill each other and other things and then buy the Dogre. And what they did is they pillaged all our issues and our kingdom. So when you go to the V&A in London, it's literally, it's Chori da Mal. You could just put a sign out there and say, Chori da Mal, Ingreja. Yeah, and they got massive pillars, haven't they? Like the size of this god, and you're like, "Tusi enne badde choriya, ettiyan baddiyan cheezaं liyan de, you know what I mean? 100-foot pillar, yeah. Like I struggle with like 20 kg dumbbell, you know what I mean? Oh gosh, you guys are strong. Edde pakke chor. But anyway, what they also did. So Ranveer Singh, who was previously of your southern area, Kanzala, he's written a book called Pathshine Dharma, and in that, what he says is that the British, the Sikhs in Punjab and that area, or even possibly further afield in the whole of India, had never been in debt. And debt didn't exist, so how they ruled their land was in a different way, it's monetary or exchange and things like that. But what actually happens is the British introduced debt and banking. And so for the first time, farmers from Punjab start getting into debt and having loans. So that whole system stems from here, and the money lending system, so that's the RT again there nowadays. But it all starts from here. So it's like how in depth. Then if you think of it like this, if I start a bank today and in 1,000 years my bank's still going, so those banks and financial institutions that started then are still eating the money of the Sikhs, or India as well. Because even if India got independence and Pakistan did, who was their central reserve bank? Where did the money come from? They didn't just print it out. They still have to have some sort of surety, don't they? So there's a surety that's backing them as well. And we've been in debt ever since. After this period, and our debts increased in terms of our collateral as a farm, and we've been impoverished and subjugated since then, and still in that sort of state. That's what we are since the British Raj. And Sikhs overwhelmingly freed India. We were the majority of the good parts. So recently I went to India. I go regularly, yeah. So if anyone grasps me up, I'll go anyway. Yeah, I've gone in a few weeks again. But anyway, The Gaddar Party, I went to Jallianwala Bagh after many years. The melting. So I went to Darshan Milli and all this. So all these photos that NSY have been sharing over the last few years, like Gulab Kaur and all these other people, they're all in there. So the whole of Jallianwala Bagh history is based on the Gaddar Party, and majority of 90% of the photos you'll see in there are Sikhs. So I was taken aback because you're literally 200 yards from Darbar side, and Darbar side the same stamp was wrong, this was wrong, that was wrong, and then the same revolutionary spirit in Jallianwala Bagh is being celebrated. So like the disparity of it was just really shocking, because I'm in India at the time as well, so I'm standing there and I'm meeting Sheikh Gurwars and other things. So it's just like, it's really strange that how time changes and how these things are seen fine in the British time, but now when we're doing it now, it's not. It's outlawed. So the Ghali Gubbars were basically armed Sikhs who did do armed struggle, so did the Gaddar Party as well. And others courted arrest and were hanged, so the majority of people who died in the freedom struggle were Sikhs, or arrests as well. I've not got the stats on here, but that's what we did do. In terms of the Sikhs character, so I googled a photo for Sikhs, and this came up. ठीक है? चल England दी तो नहीं मिली तो it might have been a British flag, so that's the American flag. Yeah, that's an American police officer, I think. Yeah, and we've got a nice uncle wearing a nice shirt and tie here, the bunny hoy dari, and a layered bag, yeah, which I can't tie. I'm terrible at tying this stuff. Yeah, so he looks smart and corporate. Yeah, he looks like he's subjugated by the Americans or celebrating that culture, and he's serving the American public. So this is the image that we want to give out to the world, that we're actually your subjects. We feed you langar and you celebrate us. Yeah? So this is a subjugation that we want to actually celebrate, that this is what we are as Sikhs, we serve you, we're your servants. So this is the sort of view that we always portray. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong, we can do that, but we're a sovereign people as well. We should be celebrating ourselves on our own basis. So we've got like cute kids, very bana. Yeah, so sone bache, we ain't got a single and a hung saying wearing a bana with a 10-foot kappan, because that might look a bit extreme. Yeah, so we've got it on the kids instead, and you can't see the shasta or the lattare. So it's like, this is the sort of things we do. So we never ask for Raj, that's wrong. That's the separatists who ask for Raj. You don't ask for your freedoms, that's the bad Sikh. Yeah, so that guy who from the Slough restaurant, whoever it is, you know, does a video every few days. Yeah, we're those bad Sikhs. Yeah, the good ones are the ones who tie the daddy like him, speak a bit dodgy English. Yeah, not sure who attacked his car or not. So it's like, but if you abuse their generosity, the Sikhs won't take it. Yeah, so that's a given. Regardless of even what these look like as well, huh? Sikhs interested in freeing Gurdwaras during the freedom movement. So this is what happened in terms of our own Gulami. So during the British Raj, we mass participated to free our Gurdwara, and then we went home after the 1920s. Once the Shomni Akali Dal and the Shomni Committee gets made, after 1925, we all go home. So the Taksar Mahapur also helped and contributed in that freedom movement. Then, en masse, we went home, and all Gandhi does is copy our movement of freedom, because he realised that's going to work. So we went home, and then we withdrew, and then we didn't get anything, because we were no longer actually of any power, because we'd actually withdrawn. The only thing we carried on doing was the armed struggle part and the Gaddar Party, which they were saying, so Nehru and them, to this, if you look at any paperwork, they say these guys are terrorists who are committing crimes or like doing any actions in terms of armed actions. So they said that, but now you go to India and Bhagavad Singh, they're both so but back then they were saying yeah, but they got there. So it's like that thing. So like now, in another 20 years, even the Hindus in India now say something else was right anyway, like underneath. But even the Indians, they might say in a few years that he was right. Like now, the BJP don't really care because he's Congress, so they just get out of it like that as well. So there's a lot of that as well. Always being a minority, even when they have ruled. That's really important, because it goes back to that point of Hilmi Raj and humility. Even though we've been Raja and Maharaja, we've always been a minority in the population. We've never been a majority, even if we've been ruling as well. So that's really important, even during this missile period as well. And libertarian and non-oppressive other faiths and cultures. So we're actually open. So when people talk about a Raj Bagh being set up, you look at the previous Sikh Raj, we never oppressed any faith or community, and we're actually diametrically opposed to that, and we're diametrically opposed to people putting urine on someone else's flag. It's just, it doesn't add anything to our, what it does add to our movement is being seen as extremists and labelled as not having an intellectual argument, which we don't want to do. Yes, so I'll stand here and say that about my brothers doing things like that. It doesn't say about purpose, about long-term aims. So what happens is June 1984 happens, and I put these points on here. So fake encounters had already started between 1982 and 84. Bhutta Singh se mila the Chief Minister, I'm not sure. Bhutta Singh se I can't remember. No, it's Bhutta Singh. Because I was 4 saal se ago. Yeah, you know what I mean? I can get out of that one. Yeah, but anyway, Darbara Singh. It's Darbara Singh, I think. Yeah, but in that period of 1980 to 84, fake encounters had started. Sikhs were already being killed in fake encounters, so the police would pick them up and kill them and then say they shot at us and things like that. And the BBC correspondent Tully, in the Satish Jacob and Tully book, they actually say that it started. So they actually put that on record, even though they're anti a lot, but they actually put that in as well. And between 82 and 84, it's the value of the Morja civil rights movement asking for more rights for Punjab, not for just for Sikhs, but for all of Punjab, and there's Hindus who got Shia in this Morja as well. 250,000 courted arrest, peacefully, 250,000 people between 2 years. 44 Gurdwara was simultaneously attacked. So if we say something else is wrong for being a Akal side, well, something else is miraculously at 43 other Gurdwara as well. That's the Indian government white paper that's saying we simultaneously attacked 44 Gurdwara because there was Sikhs hold up in all these Gurdwara. So it wasn't just about something else, it was a planned massacre of Sikhs across Punjab and planned ethnic cleansing of the dehumanised separatist civil rights activists who've been criminalised in the sort of press of India as well. And if you look at this, criminalised without FIRs. So the disable, they know what a FIR is. First information report, you have to file that to do any criminal charge. Something else, they khilaf ek FIR darj nahi hega. You will not find any paperwork. And if they talk about the Sikhs being terrorists or separatists or criminals, the Indian government made Punjab, what's it called? The Punjab Problem, 1984, white paper, I think it was published in July possibly, 1984, straight after the attack, where they do not present a single warrant for arrest for any Sikh in Punjab. I've got the white paper here, I can send it to you, but they don't, so they've got no arrest warrant. So if we're saying they did X, Y and Z, where's the arrest warrants? There's nothing. So they've got no evidential base for what they're actually saying. So the Sikh community was criminalised over accusations, not even any evidence. The dead, so the shaheeds, so this is an actual real photo of the Purgalma of dead bodies. So Brahma Chalani was a journalist for India and he saw some of the dead bodies and he also went on record to say that dead bodies were seen with their hands tied behind their backs. That same Brahma Chalani, if you go onto Jazz Sikh PA, Jazz the Journal, onto his Twitter and just scroll his stories over the last few days, that Brahma Chalani has now written an article against Khalistan. And that Brahma Chalani in 84 was charged with sedition for telling us the truth about 84 attack, June 1984. So if you search Google and you look for him, you'll find his articles against the government, so he got charged, and now he's being a good little boy and writing articles against Sikhs. So I messaged Jazz and I told him, I didn't put it on Twitter because I didn't want to show up Chalani because you know what I mean? So I didn't tell him, and Jazz was like, whoa. So he might just have a gun to his back, but there's always a story behind the story as well. And unless you've studied this stuff, you won't know. Indian government say 500 Sikhs from the complex died. That's what they say. And then what they do is they also say civilians dash terrorists. They don't know who they killed. We know really there's about 75 Sikhs who get shaheed. So in the list that we've got, actual fighters that we know of, there's about 75. Really there's about 150 where then a lot of them get arrested, go to Jodhpur, some might escape. But it's not really more than about 150. Unless some have joined in, but really it's only about 150 tops, 200 max, But 75 actually get shaheed, We have a list of 836 now compiled from the Darbar side. So we've pulled out resources, we took Tribute 84's list, we got another list from Sikri Guy, then we got a list from Baba Tumma as well. We've all pulled our lists and we've got to that number now. So we've got 830. So Baba Tumma at the moment is building a gallery under the Shahidi Yadgar and he's going to put the photos up. I think his list he's got 680. But Anup and them are going to share this list as well, so they've got the list from me as well. So we've pulled it and we're cross-referencing some of this as well in India, some of the sayings are. The Indian Army says 83 soldiers died in the attack, which is a clear lie, Rajiv Gandhi is quoted as saying 700 army officials after the attack. Eyewitnesses say 700 to 900 army died, yeah? On our Akaal Publishers website, it's crashed a bit at the moment, but we did an interview with Jagir Singh Mahant, who lives in the UK. He fought in the attack, and I said to him, like, how many people died? He said, look, anyone who came in the Prakadma, we killed them all. And he actually escapes on the 6th of June, that's when he leaves. Yeah, he doesn't know what's happening in the Kartak side, but he escapes from where his position was. But he says, anyone who came in the Prakadma, unless they hid or ran back out, the army officials, we killed every single person who entered. It's only when the tanks enter that they make some movement, but before that, they get nothing. All their commando drops, everything, they all get wiped out. Every unit does. So the total deaths, Kashwan Singh, Indira Gandhi's jump job, used to call him, yeah, an author, he says 5,000 Sikhs died in 1984 June. Ved Marwaha, who's been a governor of state, been a high-ranking police officer, in one of his books he says 4,712. So it's quite specific, that number of where he's getting that from, we don't know. So at the moment, we don't know ourselves, we're still at this point of 830, whereas we know 5,000 is more likely. Tomorrow I'm doing another talk, so we're going to cover some of these points in that as well. And different points what's in this today, so I don't want to say the same stuff that I'm saying tomorrow. Beyond June 1984, 7th of June, so the story of the Sikhs of this whole talk is literally any Raj came, we destroyed their Raj and they were cleaned out. All it is, we're in a transient period at the moment of a certain Raj who's attacked us, but anyone who's come, one of their Raj back. And we were the ones who actually made them leave and destroyed their empire. Yeah? So we were the ones who did that as a community. So this is, the June thing's still carrying on in terms of what we're living through now. 7th of June, a lot of Sikhs were detained and sent to Nabag prison. Ladakh was an interrogation sort of torture centre, and Jodhpur jail. In the other presentation I'm doing tomorrow, there's 22 children between the ages of 2 to 16 who were arrested and listed as terrorists from the Darbar Sahib complex. Ages of 2 to 22. No, 2 to 16, sorry. 2 to 16 ages and 22 people. Let us sink in. How can a 2-year-old be a terrorist? And they were sent to Jodhpur jail. One of them was freed, I think a 7-year-old, after 3 months of being in Jodhpur jail. Sweets and cigarettes given to the army by right-wing Hindus outside the Darbar Sahib at the complex tower. So eyewitnesses accounts confirm that happened afterwards. 8th of June, Keith starts again, All India Radio, and was promised to begin by February 1984. So that was one of the monks of the Morja, but then they suddenly started doing it. It's continued to this day, the Kirtanas from the Darbar Sahib. And the Kirtani, Ovi Jajbale Sige, because they'd seen what had gone on in the Darbar Sahib. So when the Kirtanis went on to All India Radio, they just started singing shabds against the Sarkar, saying like the Baba Bani Shabd that we read, Etimad, Eidulani. So they didn't sing shabds of normal nature. So anyone sitting at home listening to that Kirtan would know that the Ragis are singing shabds of rose and palm. There was a Simillan in September 1984, Sansing Maskeen. That will be the most vibrant speech you'll ever hear from Sansing Maskeen. You will never hear his voice so right-wing. So he goes against the Indian anthem and everything in that speech. So we gave him out years ago, over the years, but you can find that possibly. There's 2 recordings from that Simillan. So it's Gyani Puri Singh, who used to be a head branch of the Darbar Sahib, and Sansing Maskeen, and they talk about the attack. So Sansing Maskeen takes a view of what the Gom should do, and he's basically saying just go and kill them and attack back. Gyani Puri Singh is given an eyewitness account of what happens. Bharatjit was the Indian Army circular, and in that they say this. I'm not going to read it out here, but basically they say all Amritdharis are dangerous people and terrorists and criminals, and you should view them with suspicion. And then after the attack, we have this operation called Withdrawals, which is a calming operation in Punjab. We've got no data on that because Punjab was cut off from the world, no media, army rule for about 2 months. We have no idea how many people were arrested, how many people were killed, even to the extent that people who were in the attack, who were there in India at the time, their families did Sej Paths for their Antam Sanskar without the body, and then they get phone calls like a year later. I know families here in the UK that happened with, and Singhs. So a year later, the same phones on saying I'm alive, and they're like, that's what I said, what the book about that. Yeah? So those things happen. Even Baba Harjinder for a year was incognito. They had to hit the ground, all the big people. They were either in Jodhpur jail or hitting the ground. Those 2 situations that the majority of Sikh leadership was doing after June 1984. UK, where we did the Sikh response. So some of us in this room would have been at some of these events because we're old and we got Chitte Dole in here. But first ever protest, March, June 1984, tempers rise, Sikhs flocked to London Hyde Park. Yeah, so I remember when we got on the buses at Warsaw, literally 4 to a seat. It was like every coach, every bus was rammed to the hill, and like all your family went, all the drinkers, all the off-life owners, because there's hardly any bodies there anyway, so but everyone went. It was like your whole family went, it was like no one was left at home. On the 23rd of September 1984, ISYF was founded, so International Sikh Federation. They were banned in the UK, the prescription's been lifted now. So at my school in Warsaw, so like I said at the start, all problems start from us. Yeah. Globally fulfilling the dream of 25th of March of Bhai Harjinder Singh, which he passed a resolution that ISYF should be founded globally as a representation for the Sikhs in a global sense. Bhai just recently came to the UK, founded it. He then went to Ghana, South Africa, came back to the UK and got arrested upon entry, deported to India, and then he was thrown in jail. Yeah? And the Sarvat Khalsa makes him the Jathar and the Akaal, and he was the Akaal Jathar for quite a long period after that, even though there was a lot of other Akaal Jathars because he was a lot of time in the jail. So that's not to say like I support Singh Sahib or whatever, a lot of people are against him. I know him personally to an extent, but this is just the history of what happened in the UK. Yeah, the Babur Khalsa Singhs and the Kanki Jathar Singhs, they were already actually Amritdharis, a lot of them. So what comes out from them is they support the ISYF as well, they're not actually against it. So whatever happens afterwards in fragmentation about politics, they were part of some of this as well and supporting it and doing their own things as well. Council of Khalistan already existed in the UK, but then other Council of Khalistans started getting set up as well, like the, what was it, Jaladan, Sarkar, Sadi, government in exile, but they've all now surrendered to the government in India when they've been. But after this, as a direct response, Indira Gandhi is assassinated by Bhai Harjinder Singh, by Satwan Singh, and thousands killed in the aftermath. So what we've got here is a photo of the guy who killed Gandhi as the Ganja Gandhi. Yeah? So this is the guy who shot him. This is actually a news report straight after he's killed him. Yeah? And what they're saying here is like small riots broke out. Yeah? And so on the 30th of January 1948, a member of the Hindu Mahasabha, which still exists, the right-wing organisation, and the RSS, which still exists today, which is like the backbone of the BJP, yeah, they killed Mohan Karmadas, I can't remember his whole name is, but Gandhi, yeah, they killed him. 2 of them were hanged, others were life imprisonment, 6 killed in these riots and 20 injured that followed. So if you make the comparison, the Sikh community, 10,000 across India, killed in 3-4 days, openly burnt on the streets, raped, displaced. But when a Hindu did it to Gandhi, who's bigger than Indira Gandhi, yeah, Bapu Sada, yeah. So the thing is, then you get 6 killed in riots, 28 injured. That's the direct aftermath. But no one went after the RSS. No one went after the Hindu Mahasabha. Thousands of people went killed. So you can see the difference of the treatment. So we've got here 8 stages of genocide. So this is like academically accepted as 8 stages of genocide. So the first stage is classification. So how do you make them and us, Sikhs, orange colour, Gara, Garpan, the wood name Bachit. Symbolisation, what are the symbols that represent the Sikhs? The Nazis gave the Jews the star to wear on their uniforms and they did other things. So the symbolisation was there. You could see who was an Amritdhari, you could see if they were negating the star, you could see the Gara. Dehumanisation, they're less human than us, they're separatists, they're terrorists, they're anti-national, they're asking for things that we shouldn't give them. Yeah, they think they're special. Organisation, voting registers were given out to identify Sikh housing. They would mark the houses and then the mobs would attack afterwards. So it's very well planned and organised. Polarisation, they're not national, they're separatists. So pre-1984, there's only one organisation or 2 organisations and they're very fringe. They've got like 10 members in India, Council of Khalistan and Al Khalsa. They've literally got 10, 15 members, yeah. And they're the only 2 organisations which are asking for Khalistan pre-1984. No one else is asking for it. Yeah, they're saying the whole of the Sikh community is asking for Khalistan. And the man was never there. You can hear Santa Nelson repeatedly saying off the stage. So preparation, pre-plan, and Indira Gandhi's death just brought it forward. So the planning of all they did is it just flipped the switch. So they got the mobs out, they gave them rods, they gave them powder, and they just implemented it. The plan was already there to do it. Extermination, burn them alive, beat them to death. If you look at any genocide, majority of genocides are done in, like the Nazis killed the Jews in gas chambers, hanging from the world. With the Sikhs, they just burnt them alive on the streets. And Maulud Thatcher flew to India for Indira Gandhi's funeral, and at the back, Delhi's still on fire. So that's what happened, and then we sort of eulogised some of the leaders who went to that as well. So the PLO leader, Yasser Arafat, Fidel Castro was there. Fidel Castro was on record saying he was good friends with Indira Gandhi. That doesn't mean Fidel Castro or Yasser Arafat are wrong people, but that's how Indira Gandhi was portraying herself and the Sikh problem to a mass. So denial of a genocide leads to further genocides or further murder. So the denial of this continues to this day. The vernacular of the Indian state is still that it was riots, it was spontaneous, it wasn't. And you're looking in the press now, the recent cases, he's got off again, hasn't he? It's like 40 years on, he's still fighting in court cases for this. It's ridiculous. So murder, rape, displacement and beyond. So this is a kid getting burned to life. Yeah? So this happened. It's not like it didn't happen. So I'll mention some of these points, but the one I'm going to mention here is this one. 200 Godare in Delhi alone. 200 Godare. We talk about the Sikh bodies, but 200 Godare. Kinne Slupandi biyadbi hogi. Yeah? So it's 200 Godare, including Raghavganj. So like, Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur gives his Sikhs Balidan to save Taran, but then they're attacking his own Gurdwara. Jithe ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸੰਸਕਾਰ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ. Yeah? Sikhs attacked on trains, came in dead bodies to Delhi. Buses attacked, business attacked. I know personally Sikhs from Delhi who just about escaped. There's a guy, my friend who lives in Wolverhampton, he had to stay in a flat for 4 or 5 days in Delhi without any food and things like that, because what was going on. They just sat down basically. They was going to fly back to the UK and they got stuck there. Eyewitness say it continued from the 31st of October to the 6th of November. So I went to Oslo a few years ago and there was a Mona in the crowd. He was actually there, and on the screen I think I'd written like the normal, we reached like 3rd of November or 4th, and he said, "But you know, so he's actually an eyewitness." So like, if you look at anything online, in all of our writings, all of us who write about 84, we all write the 3rd or the 4th, none of us like 6th or the 7th. So it's like, it's very different what happens on the ground to what we read about or what we learn about, and the other side of it is silencing of the voice. When they're dead, they can't speak. So we don't pick that up then as well. Resilience, how would you respond? That's the question. When you go through all this stuff, how would you respond? That's a rhetorical question. Like, if you'd seen this all and you were in India, so what really happened with the Sikhs, a lot of the Sikh view was from a lot of people, yeah, because you've got to realise the mass media in India at the time was a few newspapers which are pro-India and one TV channel, Doordarshan. So the Sikh voice didn't get out in terms of the masses. And we look at Santanal Singh, the speeches and stuff, really Santanal Singh's voice didn't reach that many people as well. They did, but generally it didn't really reach that far as well. So a lot of the Sikhs in Delhi and other places thought Santanal Singh was wrong. My mama to this day says Santanal Singh was doing wrong things at outside when there's women in the basement. That's the sort of things that the government said. So what happened is there was a sort of polarisation of the view, but when Delhi genocide happens, those same Sikhs who were in Delhi then say no, they're after all of us. Do you get it? So there's a coming together of all the disparate views of the Sikhs, because all the things that Santanal Singh said in his speeches from 1982 to 84, they all come true. It's all prophetic. So all the anecdotes that he gave, everyone's seeing them now, whereas in the past some of them might not have come across that. They might be treated well by police officers or other people, they might be part of their families, so that then becomes a reality for all of these people. And those that were involved in Tabyat Morcha and close to Santi, they knew reality when it hit, but 84, November shocks everyone on that. But then Sikhs who were not involved took up arms after 84, yeah, as they saw no other options. Peaceful protest prior to 84 hadn't yielded any results. So then they just turned, we've got to fight now. We've got to fight for our survival. So that's what it turns into. This is the history. We're not telling you to do any of these things, yeah? If someone tries twisting my words, this is historical. This is what happens in Sikh history. And if you look at different movements in different countries, their armies do this, or they have freedom movements that do this as well. So normal everyday use in Punjab at the time, 13 to 30 years old, or even across India, what started happening was the police started to harass them, going to college, going to their care, picking them up, torturing them, then taking a bribe to release them. But once you're on the list, that you've been arrested once, if anything happens in that area, they'll come pick you up again and then torture you again and get more money out of you. So it's like an extortion ring by the mafia. Once you're on the list, they're going to keep going back into you as a victim. So what choice have you got? You got militants who are taking up arms and fighting the government, who operate at night, hide during the day. So you can take up arms and fight back. But if you've got a mum and a sister at home, if you take up arms, they might come and take your mum and your sister and rape them. Or you keep paying bribes to the police and keep coming in out of jail and going back in. you've got no way out. So it's like a lot of the people just broke and joined the movement because of that. It wasn't a conscious choice for a lot of people. The people who were involved prior to 84, the Baba Khalsa sayings, the Sandan Nursing Association saying, the Federation saying, that's the Federation, All India Sikhs Federation, they had a different perspective because they were involved prior to 84, so their thinking was different. They'd sin and lived the Sangash. But the other people, it became a choice. What do? It's like you're between a rock and a hard place. You either stay at home, take beats, try looking after your family, or you take a boat home and defend yourself, and you're still going to die anyway. So you're dead either way. It's like, what do? So a lot of the people took up arms because they couldn't get a way out, or they tried to leave India. So no one chooses war. Yeah, no one does that. Like Palestine doesn't choose that. Israel, I don't know if they do or not yet, but generally no one chooses war as a protracted solution to anything. Yeah? So everyone chooses peace, but when government policies as such, Sikhs choose to live with dignity and not slavery. That's in our DNA. Our history teaches that. Our Gurbani teaches that. That we're a free people, we're God-oriented. And if you beat us, we're going to pick the Qurban up. We cannot go against why we've been given this Shastra, or why Shemi Pasha did what they did and went and took Chandu and killed him and tortured him all the way to Darbar Sahib from Delhi. Yes, that's our history of Diwali. We don't like talking about that. We talk about little candles. We don't like talking about Chandu getting tortured and getting murdered and he's getting the Karsha in his head from the same guy who put the Karsha over Banjir Pasha. Yeah, that's what really happened. And then when Shemi Pasha comes from Lahore after killing Chandu and stopping his own mother from killing Chandu because she wanted to do it, yeah, then they celebrate Diwali. That's the point of Diwali for the Sikhs, and it's on Diwali day. It's not Bandishore. Bandishore is many days before. Yeah, let's not confuse our history, because that's what really happened. Bandishore is the day Maharaj gets released from Gwalior Killa. Diwali is the date that Maharaj then celebrates, and they didn't really arrive there on Diwali. They already got there, took Jahangir there, and Jahangir actually becomes a Sikh as well, which is an open thing. It's sort of a closed thing that we don't talk about much. But Jahangir becomes a Sikh as well. Yeah, and then they take Chandu to Lahore, kill him there, and then when Maharaj comes back, they celebrate Diwali as a celebration of Maharaj coming back and a celebration of killing Chandu and getting our Raj Bagh back, in that sense that we're now free again. We've done what we're supposed to do. We're back on our feet now as a Sikh community. So that's what the Diwali is about. It's not just about freeing the Raja as well. And he went 52s, all of them. Everyone in that jail got emptied out. Maharaj took them all out, not just the 52. Maharaj said, just come out, walk out. So, as a community, our resilience turned into this. Yeah, so the Sabbat Khalsa happens in 1986. Bhai Harjinder Singh played a key role in this and duped the government, acted like a soft old Baba and said, we're just doing this normal program. And then when they went on the stage, they did everything against the government that the government didn't expect them to do, because they were a nice granddad. It wasn't like this. Yeah. So they then, from this, Khalistan Commando Force is established, which is a fighting arm, Kalpujatbandi militant group, you could say. BKI or BP, Bhai Harjinder already existed in India at the time, so they're already there, and they're already working hand in glove with a lot of these things as well. Declaration of Khalistan happens in April. Yeah, General Lab Singh gets arrested from the 84 attack, and then gets broken out of jail. Yeah, so General Lab Singh fought in the whole of the attack. When Sanjana Singh comes out of the Kaltak side, General Lab Singh fights then as well and escapes, but then gets arrested. Yeah, so he's like a superhero. Then he comes back out, and then they do a jailbreak, and he gets out of jail, and then he leads the Khalistan Commando Force. The All India Sikh Students Federation was banned prior to 84 as an organisation, and then they got factionalised into wings of this Sikh Students Federation. Khalistan Liberation Force was another organisation set up. Khalistan Commando Force then got factionalised into different branches as well. Bindramala Tiger Force of Khalistan was by Baba Manojal, and in 86, so this is where the separation of polarisation of view starts coming. So this is seen now as the right-wing Sikhs who did the Sabbat Khalsa of 86. But then in the same year, the Akaal Publishers, there's a parallel Sammelan in Nagpur side, which we don't talk about now, because the parties and people who attended that Sammelan now say that 86 Sabbat Khalsa was right, but back then they were actually aligned with them. So it gets really confusing, but we just stay quiet for it, that we don't pull them out, saying that you were swearing at us back in 86 and now you're saying we were together but we weren't. But anyway, Punjab politics, so this is what the Punjab is now. So in tomorrow's talk I'll talk about how that got thrown down, but so Punjab politics, this is sort of a timeline of what happens in terms of a big scale, let's say. Yeah? So on 6th of October 1983 up to 29th of September 1985, so about 2 years, it's president's rule from Zail Singh. So literally Punjab doesn't have its own government, it's ruled directly from the centre. And and they said there's a law and order problem in Punjab, so that's why they did that. In September 85 to June 87, so Ajit Singh Barnala is the Akali Dal leader and he becomes the Chief Minister of Punjab. Then, but as the Chief Minister, he presides over the first Black Thunder operation which attacked the Sahib again. So he was really frowned upon from the Qawm. There was only one person who dies from that, but he was like castigated by our Qawm for doing that when he was the Chief Minister. And from 87 to 92, we had President's rule again for 5 years. So this is all during the militancy period, these dates, yeah? And then from 92 to 95, Bhai Singh is the Congress leader, and then he's assassinated while he's in office. So, Bhai Dalal was saying, Balwant Singh Rajwana, Jagtar Singh Tara, Jagtar Singh Hawara, Parjit Singh Piora, engineer, Kashmir Singh. There's a group of about 8 Singhs who did the assassination. But what that assassination does is it brings peace into Punjab. Yeah, so it actually ends all of this. Because what Bhai Singh did, he came in on like a 10% vote of the population because everyone boycotted the elections. But when he's killed, it stops the killing of him and KPS Guild, like going out just doing combat operations and killing families en masse to find out where Singhs are living and things like that. Sikh militancy and votes in Khalistan and MP. So Bimal called Khalsa, the speeches at this Gurdwara. So Shomli Akali Dal 1989, Akali Dal Man with 6 out of 12 seats of Punjab for MPs. So you know people say it was a mass support, it was. Yeah. Independent seats also won by Bhai Singh Man, so that's the one from the Sabat Khalsa man that we call now, yeah. And also I think the Bhai Singh won a seat as well, so he's still active as well. So that's 8. Yeah, so the 6 of Mandal straight up, and then these two is also 8 out of the 12. We've got 3/4 of the seats of Punjab. The 1989 election showed the mass support for Sikh candidates. No more Akalis and Badal won 0 seats. Yeah, they won nothing. Yeah, and so everyone joined forces to dislodge these Sikhs who won these seats. So it's like an amalgamation. So what you got going on in Punjab now? Don't think that Bhagwant Mann is bad for Punjab on purpose. Yeah, he's only bad for Punjab because he's getting bullied by the centre. But what's also happening is the Congress and the Akali Dal need to now gang up on him to get him out because he's broken their 2-tier system of swapping over. Yeah, so Bhagwant Mann really has got the right idea for Punjab, but he knows if he steps out of line with the centre, they'll just call President's rule and he's out. So they actually compromise the Bunda when he's in the seat. Even Captain Harjinder Singh, he's got a lot of bad press, but we've done a lot of things with him as well, I'm not going to lie. But it's like, he's actually not that bad as a person, but when they get into that seat, they have to make compromises with the centre, or they get kicked out, then they lose their right, they can't do anything, can't affect anything. Bimal Kaur Khalsa was an MP as well, she mysteriously died from an electric shock at home, and we all believe she got Sheed, and so even as an MP, she was killed in that country. Yeah? 1992, the boycott the elections, Congress were in power, so we've gone through some of this as well already. Yeah, but then all the Akaal Publishers, the Jathadars in 92, either got Shaheed or went into exile, left India, or went out of Punjab and hid in other states. Yeah, so they turned the switch off. So KPS Gill actually says he could have done it in 1989. What he says in his own writings, he says in 1989 I had locations of all the Akaal Publishers, I had all the intel, and I could have gone out and turned off militancy in Punjab, but for politics the centre didn't allow me to do it. So in 92 when they do it, it's easy for them now. Some people might disagree with that view that I'm giving here, but people I spoke to in the movement, they're saying by 1988 we knew we couldn't get Khalistan through arms because we had no land gains. We only had like a little piece of land that Brahma used to lead over, like it's marshy land, but we actually took no land. So if you look at the missiles took land. Without taking land, how can you rule a country? You can't. So during the nights the Singhs used to rule, during the days the police did. So it's like we didn't actually gain anything. So we had MPs, but we then boycotted the elections afterwards as well. So we partially did it ourselves, but partially by stealth by the government as well. And after 95, we were broken, tired people. We had our families mass murdered, we'd had all this movement going on for 10 years. So we were just like, we all had enough. So if you escaped from the job, you could speak openly, but other than that, you couldn't. So never one liked was today's civilian administration, we said. He's gone up beyond days, and then Jaswant Singh Khalra went out and found lists of dead bodies in cremation grounds, yeah, and he didn't actually go out to look for it. He just stumbled upon it because he's trying to look for one of his friends, and then he's also made to disappear. and now there's Sikhs from the UK who are carrying on that work. I don't want to mention their names because they're still making trips to India, and they're getting convictions for some of these cases still as well. So that's ongoing, the work of that. Yeah, so the last real hit of any significance of the movement was Beyonta in 95. But those Singhs who did that, they're still serving life sentences. Yet the killers of Rajiv Gandhi have done deals and come out now. Yeah? And the killers of Rajiv Gandhi, they were women who killed him with like a bunch of flowers. Yeah? But that's because the Tamils support them and negotiated deals to get them out. So we say Jagdar Singh Hawara Jathadar Sada. Koi bhi Jathebandi Sanstha mein log keh rahe that we tried to get him into a Punjab jail. Has anyone done that? Has anyone ensured that he still gets his treatment for his back with his slip discs when he's made in the Jathadar? So there's a lot of underlying issues. We put people into positions. He said I don't want to do the Jathadari, and he's even written resignation letters. Yeah. So there's a lot of other stuff underlying this that we, as a Qawm, sometimes, like on the public, will put things out, but on a private level, there's a different story going on. And the Congress continued to rule Punjab until '97 after this, but without the repression of murder that Beyonta Singh had implemented. So we sort of get this period of peace that we're living in now. So since '97, Badal and Captain have sort of swapped over. It's either them, Prakash Singh Badal, who's died now, and Captain Harjinder Singh. Now we've got AAP, so it's only just changed now, that swap over here. And every time Prakash Singh Badal came into power or prominence, he would get Punjab police officers who'd murdered Singhs, such as Samir Saini, Alam, and other people. He'd get them promoted in the police. Yeah. And it was clear. You can dot that up if you want. You can see what went on every time he came into power, because he was the one who was dislodged in the 80s from any power, any seats. So he actually went around to actually make sure that this doesn't come back as well. And Captain joined back with the Congress, so he left the Congress in 1984, joined the Sikh politics, made a Lan for Khalistani from the Kartak Sahib, Sohan Chukkiyan and stuff like that, yeah. And then he went back to the Congress because he couldn't see any future in the Sikh politics for himself as a politician. And then he became back as the CM. So with Bhagwant Mann now as well, with the Amritpal issue, we all saw what Bhagwant Mann did, but he did it to keep his power. Because if he didn't obey the centre, they would have just called President's rule and kicked him out. So there's always a protracted, like behind the scenes, there's a different negotiation going on. And even with the floods and things like that, you start speaking in Hindi, the Punjabi, you know what I mean? So it's like he's doing things, he's like just become their talk piece now. He's no longer independently ruling. Genocide continues, but the methods change of what's going on in Punjab. Where are we with time? Constant watch. I'm over right now, 10 minutes?
Yeah, you're over, yeah.
Oh gosh, 1 second. Get to gear. Alright, 1 second. I want to leave this, yeah. So, English medium schools in Punjab, yeah. Alcohol, drugs, farming issues, this all continues, yeah. Sikhs attacked, yeah. And so recent developments, Orange Movement, Rajwana hanging, Ashutosh, Darshan Singh Lahara getting shaheed, and then Ashutosh doing his same protest in Ludhiana a year after. Yeah? And it's even though it's banned. Sri Guru Granth Sahib and Biyatmiya continue to this day, unabated. The Mahan Akali Das sort of made us about Khalsa, but then we've not really got anything from that really as well. And then even the Bargani Morja recently, we didn't get nothing from that as well, that's got lifted. The Kisan Morja and the floods of Punjab, so that's got now, yeah? So like, BJP and the Modi centre sort of showed all the same traces of Congress and repression of the Sikhs when the Kisan Morja happened. You all saw that yourselves. So there's no doubting what happened there, yeah? And making out the Sikhs anti-national. And what happens is, we starve Punjab of water, even though it's a water-rich state. And then, when the floods come, or the dam gets filled, Punjab gets flooded, the other states don't. So it's by planning that how can people work in a dam and never know that the levels have risen so much that now we have to, the only option we've got, flood Punjab. And if you read the press around the current floods, what happened? I was actually in India when the floods were coming, and I just about got out to get on a flight. Yeah, so literally the day the floods came, I just about got out of Haryana. I was there. And so I'm literally sitting on the border of Punjab anyway. But what they did is, Rajasthan and I'm not sure about Delhi, they all refused the water of Punjab. So they had it otherwise, but then they refused it. Pakistan said yes. And what actually happened in Punjab was that Bhagwant Mann had given so much water and bijli that everyone had jonna going, everyone had rice growing. So all the kheet were all full up with water. So when the floods came, we were already water rich, and the floods just destroyed everything. So it was the worst that could have happened. Because everyone was over the moon that we've got water for once. But one man smashed it, gave us loads of water, and then then floods came on top of that to destroy everything. And this is again from the centre to get us back, to teach us a lesson from the Kisan Morcha. So even though they agreed it, they're still actually getting us back for it as well. And beyond are never ending. No major Sikh organisation in Punjab has taken affirmative action to stop the Admiya. That's our Guru. Doesn't matter which Jathebandi, look at any Sanstha. Has anyone gone out and started saying we're going to do this, we're going to start doing marches, we're going to do this, and we're not going to stop until we get justice? No one has. No major Sikh organisation. Kinniya Golaka, Kinniya Kalsema Chaldiya, everything. I'm talking about every Jathebandi. No one's done it. And that's our Guru. So if we can't do it for our Guru, who can we do it for? And that's where our genocide continues, because we are not actually doing what Sikhs should be doing. The resilience is not being shown. If we're not doing it for our Guru, we don't have to do it for any Jathebandi, we don't have to do anything here. If we're not doing it for our Guru, then I don't know where our Sikhi lies. Yeah? So our future resilience comes from Bani, Amrit Red, Dasam Bani, Dasam Grant, an intoxicant free calm. We become a calm in the UK who takes bang all the time. We've got kids getting hospitalised at Smarthomes, go high at the heads. We're saying Panjaratani is in our calm, which is Sharab. Yeah? We've got Sharab in Punjab, Amritari ho ke Sharab in there, we can give you videos. Yeah? People in Bana drinking Sharab. Yeah? We've got weddings in the UK where Sikhs are dressed in Bana, drinking Sharab, doing Pandra, and saying with Guru Gobind Singh Sikhs, we can do this. This is the level we're at. We've got drug dealers in our areas which are dealing fame every day and cannabis. So in our areas where I live, everyone knows it's Sikhs, dressed as Sikhs, who are dealers now. Yeah, you can cut this part from the talk. But the thing is, this is where we are. So where's our resilience? Are we the ones dealing with our own problems, or are we just turning a blind eye? What are they? Chalda ya. You know what I mean? When it's your own kids who are drug addicts and getting on these things in Bana, what are you going to do? Yeah, we all need to address these issues. And a calm that has a clear action plan, funding, resources to tackle the Admiya in Punjab in India. We've got nothing on that level going on. I've had conversations on last week. If your family was burnt alive, would you do everything to get them justice? Your Guru's getting burnt alive every Patiala ਚ ਹੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਿਆਦਵੀ ਵਿੱਚੇ ਮੰਜੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਵਿੱਚੇ ਜੰਦੋਆ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਪਸੰਦ ਕੀਤਾ ਤਾਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਮਸੀ ਜਥੇਦਾਰ ਗਿਆ ਸੁਲਤਾਨ ਸਿੰਘ ਫੋਨ ਕਰਕੇ ਪੁੱਛ ਲਓ ਹਨਾ ਕੇਸਗੜ੍ਹ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੇ ਜਥੇਦਾਰ ਦੇ ਹੱਥ ਖਾਈ ਕਿੰਦੇ to make him go there. But has the Shawnee Committee really done anything? So it's like, we've got nothing going on in terms of that. If your family member breaks their leg, gets cancer, you do everything in your power to get them a resolution. But Guru Granth Sahib's happening every week and we're not doing anything. Yeah? There's a few sayings and few Jathebandiyah, but they're not tackling other people saying, who are doing the seva. Yeah? So, last time you donated to Punjab Sikh Organisation, who tackles Gurbani Biadmiya? When was the last time you donated? Or are we just a calm who gives food and gives langar to everyone and wears nice dastana? When was the last time you donated to that seva in Punjab? Because that's a true issue that we're dealing with now. Yeah, and if we can't deal with that, then we can't deal with anything, because that's what our stems from. Our whole heart comes from that. So if they attack the Darbar side, if you now turn the news on and you see a Biadri and you say Roj Hundiya, they want it normalised and it's getting normalised. It's no longer hating us because we don't want to look at it now and we're not addressing it. The same things are still going, been doing it for 20 years and they're getting nowhere. We feed the world, we starve the culture doing the real work. That's what we do as a calm. Yeah, that's the truth of it. Yeah, we can show you the culture to do work, but no one wants to pay there, no one's on their, what is it, the Western Union record, yeah? No nation can touch us, move us, eliminate us, we remain, everyone else falls to God. That's our history. Yeah, stay God focused, no empire can stand in our way. We are the Khalsa, no one's ever going to get in our way. Why would we got Khalsa? Why thank you for that? Sorry for taking too long. You're going to have to edit the last 10 minutes as well if we get arrested.
So thank you. We've got a couple of questions. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask Baji as well. I think it's sometimes I wish, we won't go on too late, but it's fascinating talking to Bhai Harjinder Singh. I wish I had more time to sit and ask him questions, because the insight and the depth of knowledge of what happened in 80s, leading up to 1984, post 84, the 90s, the intricacies, is fascinating. At times it's heartbreaking, at times it gives us hope. But it's fascinating to know how to buy someone you know, and thank you so much for coming out. I've got a couple of questions from text. You can text me if you've got my number, but I'll just give these out first, and then if anybody from the crowd, from the audience wants to ask a question. So first was the details of talk tomorrow. Just look at basis of the Sikhi page, right?
I don't have to put it up.
Yeah.
They hadn't.
No, they would have.
No, they hadn't. I'm not joking.
They don't like you.
No one likes me. It's accepted. It's at LSC the talk is. Nishan UK have shared it. Akaal Publishers on their story. So Basics have made the poster, but when we left home a few months ago, it wasn't still up. And Basics haven't sent me the poster. My while I'm sitting here. It is listed on the weeks. So this is the third week of the course, I think. 6:30 start LSC. I can't remember the room number. And it's on a comparative analysis of genocide 1984 with other communities. So we go through the other genocides across the world first.
Okay, and the question is, from your experience of, I don't think so you've met Sant, but from your experience of talking to Singhs, what was Sant Harjinder Singh like?
I think I can't answer that question. You can watch the videos. From what Singhs say, like, I'll give you some examples from Jagjit Singh Mahant. So like, we did the interview and it got really messy because we didn't really know, like I've known Jagjit Singh Mahant really all my life, but I never knew he actually fought in the 84 attack. So Gully from NSY have said to me, Nick, you need to go to see him because he was the actual guy who gets arrested, which starts at Tarbiyat Morcha. So he gets arrested on a firearms charge. Bhai Harjinder Singh goes to get him freed, and Bhai Harjinder Singh gets arrested. Baba Tara Singh goes to get Bhai Harjinder Singh freed, and then Baba Tara Singh gets arrested. And then Sant Harjinder Singh starts at Tarbiyat Morcha to free Baba Tara Singh and Bhai Harjinder Singh. And everyone forgets about the first one, which is Jagjit Singh Mahant and the other Singhs that were with them. But Mahant said to me, he's very clever as a person. So I went to talk to him about that arrest in 82, and he turned around and said, I fought in the attack. And it was supposed to be a podcast, this recording was, I've got the audio of it, and I just sat down on the sofa and just pushed the thing and I said, you just speak. And he just spoke for like 90 minutes, and he went through the whole of the history of what happened with him, how he ended up in the UK and things like that. But as part of that, he dropped some things, so when you read it, you won't realise what he's actually saying. So he says that people would come from intelligence, from the Indian government, to speak to Sant Harjinder Singh, or would be working in intelligence against Sant Harjinder Singh. And Sant Harjinder Singh's Prabhav, his charisma was so much that he would convert them to his view, and they would start working for the Sikh point of view. And in their intelligence community, they'd be working for the intelligence community, but then serving Sant Harjinder Singh. So an example of that is that Mahant said that with any meeting that anyone had with Indira Gandhi from the Sikh perspective prior to 84, Sant Harjinder Singh used to get a recording of the meeting, audio. Yeah? We discounted that ourselves because people said that to us and we just thought it's Sant Kamai rather than an actual recording. But Mahant said with actual recordings were coming, audio recordings on cassettes. And so what he said in that interview, he said, look, that's what Sant Harjinder Singh, that his shakhsiyat was so much that he could convert anyone to his view. And that's the Kamai. So when we talk about Bani Paro, Amrit Shaklo, Reh Tarako, if you've got that in you and it lives in you as a Khalsa, you can convert anything to anything because it's in your Jishtamana, Bani Thwadevati Jagdiya. So it's like Guru Sahib is breathing through you as well. So everything that you do or talk about gets implemented. Yeah? So don't think Sant Harjinder Singh losing the attack and stuff. It's all part of the Raja that happens. Then new things are going to happen, and that's how it all works out. It's a timed plan of God's plan. God's plan is always right and always happen on time. We just don't accept the banner. Our job is to do our work, and then whatever happens after that we accept. I know Singhs who watch their deaths, who know they're about to die and they're celebrating before they die. They say things like, this is coming now, I'm going to die. And they've told their families years before, I'm going to die young, so do my seva, don't make me angry and all this sort of stuff. So Sant Harjinder Singh and all the Singhs around Sant Harjinder Singh, one thing Mahant said as well, he said it was like they were all Braniya Runga. So in the attack, he said, Jidda Vyani Hunda Dasinga, Janchari Hundi. So in the attack, all the Singhs fighting, he said, we're laughing and joking and we're fighting and we're seeing each other die. But he said, Vidire Asi Jajmadi Galla Sunia Sigia, Singa ne Shidiyan Paiya, Hassas ke Variyan. He said, Asi Akhi Dikha Dekha, Sade Samne Shidiyan Paiya, Koi Khauf, Koi Gala Nahi Hega. So he said, I saw that in front of my eyes. So when he talked to these people, after 84, whatever the achievement was, because a lot of people in the room will know with Mahant, and we all backed off from that guy, but after many years I went to speak to him, and it was shocking, like the level of detail. Then he didn't allow me to put the audio, so it took us a year to type it up in Punjabi, type it up, translate it to English, and he goes, you can't put audio, you can't put photo anywhere. Yeah, he lives in Wolverhampton. It's not like, he's not hidden, but he just doesn't want to be known, and he got a lot more information. And we're scratching about how we now approach that banda to get more information. So Sant Harjinder Singh Shakhsiyat was something else that we can't really put into words unless you experienced it. So I think Sardar Singh lives in Warsaw. He went to the Darbar Sahib. He had by Nirmal Singh apna Colonel from Boss. He had Santanal Singh say you can't drink sharab. He never drank sharab again. I said that Bidi Chandi hai ki oda naam hai Babbe da. Baba Avtar Singh da bra ki oda naam hai. You know Baba Prem Singh hai na? Yeah, Baba Prem Singh no na Baba Avtar Singh, Baba Prem Singh used to go to school when they were kids and they were on a raksha. The Santanal Singh unhone mile. The Santanal Singh ne Baba Prem Singh nu kiha ki kadi meet nahi shakna. To this day Baba Prem Singh ne kadi nahi shakya. हाँ तो मैंने हाँ किया दादा ले शाकदे भी हो गए but Baba Prem Singh ने नहीं अच्छी है ना so it's like that's the प्रभाव of Mahapur का नाम someone's life.
Yeah, it's definitely, if you haven't just listened to Santanal Singh's speeches as well, honestly, he speaks for himself. He's witty, it's almost funny at times, but it's to the point. It's absolutely amazing. So if you understand basic Punjabi, do listen to Santanal Singh's audios online. The next question, Baji, is where can we find Sant Maskeen Singh's talk?
How many got phones in your pockets? Get your data from. Google it.
We want a link for it.
Google there, then put your. I'll have to look for it, Anna. We'll have to look for it, but you can. Oh man, I'll always ring my friends' websites. It might be on.
If not, you'll upload it, yeah?
ShaheedKhalsa.com. It's a very obscure website, yeah, but it's got massive resource. ShaheedKhalsa.com, look on that. If Tribute haven't got it on, or just an open of Hadley. Here, slow down the open of Hadley.
It's on SikhNet.
It's on SikhNet, there you go. SikhNet.
And the next one is things can be quite negative from that time period, listening, even watching Palestine, Israel, all of that stuff as well. Is there any hope?
Arts and gosh, if you look at it, it always goes up and down. It's like your life. Your life goes up and down. When you're a child, yeah, life's brilliant. You play the PlayStation, go to school, eat chips every day, have some chocolates. You're in a state of bliss. And then when you get a bit older, you get 16, you're like, oh man, life's turned upside down. Then you get married, then life's older, and then you get a mortgage, and you get kids, and then like, oh, forget it. Yeah, and then all my friends look at me, and yeah. But the point is, life's always a depression and a depression. Yeah, it's up to you. So our calm, it's not depressing. You're living here, you're living free. What's your oppression? Rishi Sunak being your Prime Minister, Roti Meldia, Bani Parundia, you're free. You got no problem. Look at all the bechare ayo India to 20 lakh, 30 lakh deke. No ek parwar milya Darbar Sahib to ragi 60 lakh deke aaya to the UK. £60,000 come to the UK. His son just got beat up at schooling also. Yeah, by 25 Gordon. And we're dealing with that as a case. They're crying now, paying £60,000 to come to the UK for a 5-year visa. And they might go back. But look, whatever you look at in your life, yeah, there's always someone worse off. There's always someone worse off, and there's always someone better off. Don't ever do hankar of your paise or your jwani or anything. Har sama har jagah koi badiya hoga, har sama har jagah koi katiya hoga. Pingalwara gera maar lo. If you think you're having a bad time, go to Pingalwara. See all the lungare there, they got no life, you know what I mean? You're still sitting here, you're communicating, you got breath in your bodies, you can talk, you can eat, you can walk. You got no problems. Yeah? So this happening to our calm, that's what gives us life. I'm going to this through our death. What did the talk start from? Joto Prem Klem Ka Tao Sirta Tali Gani Mani Ao. Sarta Sandu Guru Sahib to Chala Gaya. Wo to Marke Zaru Hoga Vapas. So it's we go to give that nishawal. If you haven't, you read your Path, read your Bani, and you get to the level where you do. So our whole calm and our whole faith is based upon surrender. Surrender to God, not to anyone else. And if you surrender to God, then God will always be with you. Yeah? And if we always face God, then God will always help us. It doesn't matter what situations, if you get tortured to death, it doesn't mean anything. How do these things get cut bit by bit? Things have been done it now. So if you look at this current Sangharsh, we have Sikhs Banagada, Jakya Sikhs, Kulwant Singh Nagor ki Shaheed hoya. So Kulwant Singh Nagor ki got Shaheed, 81, 82, one of the first fight encounters. They broke every bone in his body. Yeah? And a lot of the Punjab police officers who used to torture Singhs would quit their jobs, seeing the Jivan of the Singhs, so seeing the actual spirituality in these Singhs that they're torturing and murdering. Yeah, so Gurdev Singh Osmanwala, Sirbat Khalsa, the Tantric Committee Siga. Gurdev Singh Osmanwala, when he gave Shahidi, his photo's probably in the gallery in the Godal at the front now. when he gives Shahidi, the police officers can hear Mool Mantra coming from every hair of his body while he's dying, while he's unconscious. Yeah? So if you're a police officer, do you think you'd be able to do your job after that? Yeah? And don't think, oh, Punjab police officers are bad. The Punjab police officers within Punjab, I'm not going to lie, some of the Babajis out there. Yeah? So it's like, and that doesn't mean all Punjab police officers are bad as well. There's always good ones in there, but they're working in a system and they still will help you. So if Sanjana Singh can get Indian intelligence working for him, yeah, it's not all bad. We've always got a route out.
I think you just like being called Babaji, that's what it is. And the second one is the source for the Jahangir converts to Sikh, to become a Sikh.
Bhai Sukrat Singh.
Bhai Sukrat Singh, yeah.
नहीं पता कितने आपूर्ति मैंने किया देगा
ठीक है
नहीं किया
it's how
no कहते what they say है ना just leave the mic there don't matter वो कहते हैं when so Jahangir जब आते हैं ना छेवें पातशाह Jahangir Sai Mian Mir das के सिगे Sai Mian Mir had done prophecies to Jahangir about the future, about Panjveं Pasha Shahidi, and that Jahangir is going to get worked by Chandu and he won't remember what happened. And then when Chandu and Shemi Pasha comes out of jail, Jahangir gets, the Senghs actually scare Jahangir in his dreams by following Baba Buddha Ji's hukamana. They actually haunt him basically, two good Sikhs do. Yeah. And then Jahangir then remembers the bachan from Sai Mian Mir about the prophecies, and then when he remembers that, he then becomes a Shirdalu Maharaj as well. Because Maharaj Sai Mian Mir said that Guru Arjan Dev Ji is Rab, and so is Shemi Pasha. And then they say at that point, Jahangir then goes to Darbar Sahib, has Charan Paul and leaves. But he couldn't tell. What you got to realise is, a lot of these Raja who lived in that period, a lot of them became Sikhs, or even like the Hindu held Raja, but they wouldn't tell the Barja, they wouldn't tell the population. They'd hide it. Because if they told the population, their own soldiers might kill them and things like that. So if you look at the history of the Sikhs as well, the Hindu held Raja, a lot of them had Maharaj Swarups at home and in their palaces and stuff, but the Maharaj Swarup was usually in a basement, hidden away, in a private chamber. Yeah? So a lot of them were actually good Sikhs as well in that sense, of that time period, but they just didn't tell anyone. They didn't openly declare it. So they allowed people to think that they're Hindus or whatever it was. So they did that to keep themselves safe as well, because they're kings. Because the king's always at risk of his own children, let alone anything else. So that's what I've been told by Bhai Sukrat Singh about Jahangir, about him taking Janpal at Darbar Sahib. I haven't got a source for that. I don't know if it's in Suraj Prakash or in a Katha, I'm not sure. But it's a sort of, I don't know, they're the myth that we've created now. I'll just turn you on.
Thanks for that. And Paul, you want to say, you know, if you look at research and academics, there's so much out there to read and research, and there's so much that in our traditions is said is done without written sources, through blood, sweat and tears, that continues to this day. There's so many traditions within the Dalbant, within the Daksad, that continues to this day, which is not written sources. So that's something to reflect on there as well. One last question, unless somebody from the Sangat, is, apart from Sandhya Harjinder Singh, who was the most impactful person in the movement from 80s onwards? So who's the most inspirational person apart from Sriman Sandhya Harjinder Singh? Sorry to put you on the spot, do you want a moment?
It's not that.
It's too many.
No, the thing is, that's a very politicised answer to give. You get it, because Sandhya Harjinder Singh is obviously there, but then the second one's by Amrik Singh. Because if Sandhya Harjinder Singh leads a movement, who gives the men to Sandhya Harjinder Singh? By Amrik Singh. Because that's the Student Federation which is ruling the whole of India, and that's the feeder. So all these Jathabandiyas that we put on the screen, their feeder organisation was still the Sikh Students Federation. So that's where it came from. So all the youth came from there, from the Federation of doing camps and other things. So all of that came through there. So the second most one, that was them. It's no like, for me it's not, it's a non-brainer. You made me use my brain, but it became a non-brainer.
Anyone else from the Sangat? A couple of people.
Good, just come to the front, man. No one can hear you.
I'll let uncle.
Uncle. हैगा अंकल ही आ मेरे तो 10 साल बड़ा है लगता है या I did, but बाकी उन्होंने सुने मैंने तो तेरा पता है तेरी आवाज में तो नेरे च आ जानी है
YouTube, I think I got it from, I heard it that just before the attack, 84, up now, they sent in 14, I think it was, leaders of the Indian army, whatever, and they didn't come back out and serve something. Do you recall that?
This is after June the 6th? Or when?
Just before the attack, 1984.
I don't know anything about that.
Oh, you don't know?
No.
Sorry, John, pause to another uncle.
Why would you you talk about poverty, extreme poverty, and subjugation. Gribi Tegalam. You also talk about our golden period, golden era of 100 years. That was when Sikhs fought for sovereignty, and they obtained full sovereignty on the land of Punjab. Why do you think it is? I can understand, there is so much pressure on the Sikh community in Punjab. But here, so much reluctance to talk about sovereignty, future of the Khalsa Panth, where we want to go. That's all missing. All we talk about from day to night is, I don't want to say it, totally irrelevant talk. And that is in 99% of the Gurdwaras. Nobody want to address that vacuum, if you like.
Yeah.
So where do you see the Panth going in the future?
I think the summary of the question was, why are we so reluctant to talk about sovereignty in the 80s and 90s?
I don't know about that. You just twisted the question. Anyway, I'll go back to what he said. That's what you thought, I didn't. Yeah.
That's right. Look, I'm now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Martin. Sorry. But that's why afterwards, yeah. But anyway, I failed in this because I mentioned in Ranveer Singh's book in this part-time memoir. I don't know when it was released. You remember when it was released? 2 years ago now? I can't remember yet. But basically, I was supposed to write a review for that book, and I still haven't written the review. I'm on towards the end of the book now. Yeah, but he put Gurbani the Panthi in there, so it's hard for me because I can't just pick it up after wash my hands and whatever. And I had to go, and he said, he gave me the book to review and write a review. You all should read that book. Yeah, that book is just full of how we are sovereign from Guru Nanak's time to the present day. And then, once you read that book, you'll understand the whole Sikh psyche about sovereignty. In terms of us speaking about sovereignty, Uncle, it's that thing, Anna. Someone asked a question, I don't know if Benji's here, this BT Sikh network, Anna. Well, at one point I've just seen you, yeah, but someone asked a question from India, I think he was on the call, it was last week, and they said that people are saying to us in India, he said like his family and other people wear top baseball caps, Anna. And stuff, and they say to us, किसी की पहरावे नहीं है कि मन साफ होना चाहिए था. And I said, मन साफ होना चाहिए तो गुरदास मान के अंदर गुरु साहब तो कहना नहीं. Yeah. And so it's that thing, Anna, because जे थोड़े जज्बात नहीं है कि तुसी गुरबानी नहीं पढ़ते, तुसी इतिहास नहीं पढ़ते, तो थोड़े जज्बात बनेंगे नहीं. You can't. Yeah. Sidhu Moosewala is everyone's hero. His photos are on people's cars. 5 years ago in Punjab, all the photos were Samson Singh. They've now deteriorated. Now it's Moosewala who spoke about sort of hip hop and gang life, and who's the other two? Deep Sidhu, I haven't really seen. I'm not going to lie here. So it's like we've made our heroes into other people. I remember I saw a Punjabi song video a couple of years ago. Some of you might have seen this. So you know how they make like this Jeena Maur scene. So there's a guy like wearing a chadar, nahi payi hundi kali chadar, kali dastar, he's got like do nali with him, so a rifle, yeah. And then what they did was they got a 7-year-old kid and a 7-year-old girl to dance in the video as the stars with the like do nali. And I'm like, is this where we've got to? We've got 7-year-old kids doing this now for us to say this is the life that we should be living. Yeah. So when our Najwan in Punjab Punjab is invested and infested with alcohol. It is the most saturated state in the whole of India with alcohol. You can get alcohol probably easier than water. Yeah?
But that is because of the state policy.
No, all the tika, uncle, all the tika, but we're not doing anything against that as well. Yeah. So number one, man just passed a law to put more alcohol, more ticket in Punjab. So you can get alcohol probably easier than clean water. Because घर दा पानी असी कोई नहीं पींदे. तां अगले नूं कहना पैंदा कि फिल्टर दा भाजी पी ला. नहीं तां असी नहीं लाउंदे हाथ. कोई नहीं लाउंदा हाथ. So it's like this is the so going back to the question, if we haven't got the Jazbat of Sikhi, we haven't got Afghani Bana, वो तो गल होनी नहीं, वो तो बहुत अधूरी है. Yeah? And even Amritpal Singh was a good guy, but the thing is he wanted to do everything too quick. Santanal Singh took years to get to 84, from 77 to 84. You have to realise the polity. It's not that the Purane Sangharshi Bande in Punjab are all compromised. Yeah, but Hoshna, Josh Chaldaya, maybe I've done things in my life which I regret. Yeah, I've done really bad things as well. Yeah, we've done stupid things, beating people and other things. Yeah, we've done really stupid things. Yeah, but the point is, we know what we did not do. Yeah, Sunday to all on Iowa, 40 moti salt hona. Yeah, got good khadu. Okay, but the point is, those Jadba have to get converted to a Sikh line to be doing this, and it's like people like me and another 2-3 of us have been doing these talks for the last 25 years. We haven't got a new 84 speaker. Yeah, and we shouldn't be doing it. You should be giving us coffee, sitting us down, say Uncle Ben on Jatu Pila. Yeah, Kaplu Jala. But the point is, because we have to continue, but the Jadbat only come from the Bani and the Nam Japana, and when we haven't got that, our basis is a mess, so you can't get anything in the Sanghars. So when we say Raj Kurela Khalsa, if you haven't got an Azad mentality in your brain, and if you're saying, Main Azad hai, Main Azad hai, Bakiyan da koi nahi, main ta Azad Khalsa hai. And when you go to Punjab, you take your kirpan off, and then you get beat up by a police officer on the street, and they say, where's your Azadi gone now? Yeah? So it's like there's people in our home now, our internet prachar is, I'm Azad, it doesn't matter, and then I turn around and say, so when we were getting murdered in Delhi, and 200 Godwara got attacked, your people, your organisation, where were you? You're saying you're Azad, what did you do for the calm then? Forget something else saying he could have been wrong. I don't disagree with that in an argument. Let's agree that Santanal Singh is wrong, but then 200 Godwara got attacked in Delhi. Did you attack anyone? Godwara get attacked every day in Punjab, Biadbiyan. Jira marji le lo jathadar paunga. Kinne Biadbiyan thi gaya. Anandgarh kalla siga, jira janda siga. Takht case ka sahib da. There was one guy out of all the jathadars who used to go, of any prominence, and then he got retired. Yeah. But after that, there's no one, because we're really heavily invested in Biadbiyan in Punjab. I'm not going to lie. As an organisation, as a funding system, and we deal with those cases a lot, and it's really disheartening. So when you go back to the Jadbat, we can't talk about Biadbi or Gurbani, we can't talk about anything. It's you know what I mean? And on a level of Punjab, no one's talking about, no one even in the UK, we're talking about different things. And we can't address our Torah, which is Gurbani, and our Guru.
Any more questions? Then we'll call it a day then. Well,
He's got one.
Haji Bhaji.
Regarding obviously how you've mentioned, not only just in this talk, but I've heard even a few of your talks now, you saying that obviously you were very young when you went to the first ever rally at Hyde Park. What is it that for the next generation that where we can instill that same jazba back? Because obviously you're saying that rally, because it was the first ever one since the attack, tensions were a lot more high. Next June it will be 40 years. Now, 40 years down the line, Jolotika, we have made some forms of progress, which I'm sure that you will agree to a certain extent, about getting the message out there, but then again, we are also at the same time lacking as well. Why is this not spoken at much bigger scales? Why is it that only documentaries are just being released now? Obviously, like Uncle Deep as well, saying that Prachar, mainstream, be it on Gurdwara stages, just in the UK, is probably not to where it should be. But where are our next steps, and what do you think that we here just in the UK need to do from now till next June to the rally, and even after that?
You watch Netflix? Yes? Yes? No? You watch anything? Yeah? Okay, you're a good boy. Yeah. But if we don't use those media, and those tools. So NSYF made the documentary. They had no idea how popular it was going to be. Yeah, and I actually castigated him after he got released. I was supposed to come to the release and I didn't, but once I saw it, I actually watched it on a private link before it got released. And I really pushed them, and it never happened because they've paid for copyrights in a certain way, but they can't release it on a public way. You get it? So they can only use it how they're using it at the moment. So our Calm hasn't turned around to them and say, look, here's £500,000, here's £1 million, pay for all the copyrights, goes on Netflix. That's overnight. You telling me we've got £1 million? You got property dealers in Slough, people like his father-in-law, yeah, he made millions of pounds, yeah. Now, I'm not putting him on the spot on that. I don't know if he's bankrupt now, and I haven't seen Slim for years yet. But I'm not trying to put him on the spot here, Marnie. But the point is, there's multiple.
I was casually walking back.
But it ain't anything about him. Like, that's just one example in the room. There's many Sikhs that have got that much wealth and that much money. So the point is, we need to use different media. That's the only way it's going to get there. And in terms of what you were saying as well, like, Uncle knows, I know. When I wrote my books, no one would speak. And a couple of years ago, there were like 15 different interviews on Punjab media, interviews, which actually are all eyewitnesses of the 84 attack. Because Badal wasn't in Raj, so Badal got it all done on the internet and pushed all those women out of their houses and sent media to their houses because he wanted that to be a campaigning point against getting in. But those videos, you can all go on YouTube, you can all see them, yeah? You all know a bit of Punjabi, you can start subtitling those videos. Yeah, you can use Google software now to make an audio of it and use Google Translate to then translate it, and then you can pay a translator to clean it up. Then you can go to the media house or onto YouTube yourself. I make subtitles for YouTube videos as well on a go-to basis, yeah? And you can go do all those videos. It's not actually hard. No one will ever know that you did it. You can give me, I can put it on for you, and the script will all go there as well in English onto YouTube. Yeah? So those sort of things, they're not big things. You can get one video. I tried to get someone to a few weeks ago, but I didn't know she's a Gauri. She's actually a convert, so she can't even understand Punjabi. Yeah, I gave her one video to do, and she said, look, buddy, because we speak through the internet, and she said, I can't do it. But, so there's things like that. I don't know what you were going to say back to more.
It's a sad state of affairs because if we look at it from how you were explaining before the Muslim period, which was a great time for Sikhi, despite, look, even Shahidi, for example, it's our destiny and it should be celebrated. That shouldn't ever be looked at as something bad. Genocides, they are bad, but at the end of the day, you've got to realise the inspiration that we take from that as well. This 2023 moving on to 2024, the plan, if you look at it financially, is at a very strong stage than what we were back then. Majority of people probably own their own house. Every single gurdwara, at least within itself, the building must be worth minimum 1.5 million.
Yeah.
And we've got about 200, 300 gurdwaras out in the UK, that's just the UK. Not even counting America, Canada, or anywhere else around the world. But then why is it that with that money or maya, that obviously down to the committees as well, I'm not saying everyone's right and everyone's wrong, but why still 40 years down the line?
ਉਹ ਭਰਾਵਾ ਬਸ ਕਰ ਐਵੇਂ ਰੋਣੀ ਰੋਈ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸਿੱਧੀ ਗੱਲ ਆ ਨਾ ਮੇਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਸੁਣ ਰੁਕ ਜਾ ਇਹਦਾ ਸਾਡਾ ਭਰਾ ਹਰਜਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ look if you go back to the Missile period, yeah, 17 Guru Gobind Singh Hana Sanskhan government, yeah, when does the first Sardar get Raj, yeah, when does the Missile period actually come in? Nawab Kapoor Singh looking 1735 yeah, Missile period comes about another 10-20 years after that 7 ਸਾਲ ਲੱਗ ਗਏ ਆ ਸ਼ਹੀਦ ਭਾਈ ਫੌਜਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ 50 ਸਾਲ ਬਾਅਦ ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਵੱਡਾ ਕਾਰਨਾਮਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ 40 ਹੋਣ ਲੱਗੇ 10 ਹੋਰ ਡੀਕ ਚੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਫਿਕਰ ਨਾ ਕਰੋ ਖਾਲਿਸਤਾਨ ਬਣਨਾ ਬਣਾ yeah, we just get depressed in all this. We don't need to. Our history teaches us that it's a cycle. We get our art, it's coming up now. All the interviews have come up, that documentary has been made, and back to your question, I don't like doing this, but I have to do it now to answer your question. All you should read Gang of Love. I didn't write that book, I copied and pasted it. It's an easy answer, yeah? But if anyone in this room reads that book and doesn't cry, yeah, come and slap me. Yeah, I'll give that to you as a challenge. Yeah. So if you go and read that book, I've got my Monday cousins who are atheists, don't believe in God, read that book and they cry, because that's a Sikh story. It's not about 84, it's from the Guru Sahib's time, and it's inspirational stories of Sikhi. Once you read those stories, you'll get a change in you from just reading those Sakhiyan, because it's real people, real stories, what happened to real people in the movement and so on and so on. So there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, don't be like Jigmohan, don't be like me. Yeah, and there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. So if you look at Bhai Harjinder Singh, I criticised him to one of my Sangashi friends. We read about the because brother, tu kade anda karna hai? Because aaj hoga kal hor ho juga. That's what we don't realise. Deep Sidhu did his job. Amritpal did his job. He's in jail now. Someone else will do their job tomorrow. It just continues. It's a continuation of our calm. That's our cycle. That's our story. Yeah. If something else came, we're not ready for something else. And the youth of Punjab, I'll tell you now, they're ready to make Khalistan. They're ready to fight. They're ready to do anything. We've seen that with Satya Sauda, we've seen that with Ashok Ghosh, we've seen it in Morche in India, but there's no leader. They're not getting the leader. Once they get the leader, they'll do anything. Only the car because they've got nothing to live for in Punjab. That's why they're spending and selling their land to come here. They've got no future at the moment.
I just want to make a point that they will not let the leadership establish there because you're something.
Oh, Baba ji, rock jo. I'm gonna, because these are gonna make it negative. They're gonna keep making it negative because they're prane bande. They, ote subjugate area. Kartar Singh Saraba kitho gaya siga? Canada to gaya na. So in the past, the Sikh leaders came from outside of India, even during the British Raj, and they freed it. The Ghadar party was started from outside of India. So it doesn't mean that we can't start it here and then send it to India. So stop that, uncle. Yeah. You know what we're doing, huh? ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਉਹੀ ਬਣਾ ਲੈਣੀ ਆ ਫਿਕਰ ਨਾ ਕਰ ਛੱਡ ਦੇ ਚਿੰਤਾ
I think
we're going to stop in Australia.
Yeah, I think we're going to get
turned off.
We're going to get unfiltered Harjinder Singh Nick there. I think we're going to stop right there. The book's name was The Game of Love, edited by, but all the main was by Harjinder Singh from Akaal Publishers. Probably could buy that online. Amazon. So The Game of Love. It's a fantastic book. It's, you know, Bhai Sahib's already explained what it is. We will end it there. It is Sunday evening. Thank you everyone for coming. If we can just all finish the pagoda, finish the jar, that's priority. And if you could just stack the chairs in the tent in a nice corner, please, that would be very much appreciated. Thank you very much. Thank you to Bhai Sahib for coming. Really appreciate his time as well. How to do it again.